Well, hello there. This is Beet Farmin Mitch, and today we are band spraying fungicide on sugar beets. Welcome to the Red River Valley of North Dakota, a land flowing with milk and honey. You're watching Beet Farmin Mitch. Somewhere in a sugar beet field. Ah, is it a bird? Is it a plane? I think it's a drone. So the purpose of this spray is to prevent a disease called rhizoctonia. It's a type of root rot that can damage the sugar beet crop. And just like people in Georgia love their peaches, we love our beets. This is a clingstone peach. I like the freestone peaches more, but it's still pretty good. We just had a peach truck come up from Georgia. What do you do when you get to this point? Do you grab it by the pit? Is there anybody from Georgia that watches my videos? What do you do? How do you eat the other half? Do you grab the pit? Adding organic matter to the field. So this is the band sprayer. It's an Elmer's 24-row band sprayer. So you can see those red balls on there, and sometimes the nozzle will plug. So if you see a red ball going slightly lower, probably means there's a nozzle that's plugged or half plugged. Sometimes they just barely are plugged. Got your pressure gauge down there, and as long as we're at 60 psi, our nozzles are good, and we're in between the rows. That's about it. I mentioned we're spraying for rhizoctonia. We used to use Quadris, which is azoxystrobin, but they came up with a new fungicide a few years ago called Excalia, in pyrofluxam, I think, and so it's a different mode of action, so we're using that and we're band spraying it. The thing about band spraying is there's two different types of spraying. There's band spraying, which is when you spray just directly over the row. There's a 9-inch band over the row, and you're not spraying the dry dirt. Broadcast spraying, you'd spray the whole thing. So when we band spray this fungicide, we use half of the fungicide that we would use if we would broadcast spray. So it costs half as much to do this pass, plus we're using half the chemical, plus it's more effective because it's directly over the beet. So that's why we like to do this. Driving our Case Magnum AFS Connect 340, going 6.1 miles per hour. Got the iPad in here basically. So this is my sprayer control box. It's a Raven 440. And so that's how many gallons I have in my tank. I manually enter that number. When I fill, I got 136 gallons, and I'm doing about 30 gallons a round or 15 gallons a pass, so we can still make 4 rounds. So the sugar beet crop overall looks very good this year, but there has been some stand issues, and there's kind of a hole where I'm at now. You can see there's some gaps where there aren't as many beets. You know, you look for a couple feet or a foot, and you'll see there's a little bit of a hole here. The rest of the field looks good, but this field has a couple holes in it where beets just didn't all emerge. So we had an early start to planting this year, which is good. But then it got really hot for 3 days. It was like 100 degrees and super windy, 40-mile-an-hour winds for 3 days. That wasn't great. Dried things out, and then it got down to like 35 degrees the next night. So we had a big temperature swing, and there was just some weird weather for a while there that I don't think was very good for the stand. So we ended up having to replant a field and a couple holes in some other ones. But overall, we've been pretty happy with the stand. I know everybody's kind of in a similar boat in our region. Maybe not everybody, but a lot of guys. Here's my brother Jason and the other one. Down to 100 gallons. 99. And we're burning 5.4 gallons an hour. So this is a Pro 1200 screen, kind of the main GPS screen. This is the page I usually run on. Show me my acres I've done. It's not super accurate, but it gives you an idea. And then this is one of my personal favorites. You got the back camera that honestly, you can't really see much of anything. So, but it's kind of a neat feature. I suppose there's a time and a place for it. Yeah, if you tap it, that goes to the front. This is kind of a more comprehensive GPS screen. All right, I got you on the steering wheel. We'll see how this goes. Probably not quite as smooth as the drone flight. All right, let's check out the beets. So if you didn't know it, that's a sugar beet. This is a hat crystal beet seed, some good stuff. Here we got some good looking sugar beets. You know when they're starting to look like rows of lettuce, that's good. You can see an odd beet missing, and you can see like how that one came up later. This is in the 2-leaf stage, because it's got 2 little leaves. You don't count the cotyledon. Those are the first ones, but these are the first true leaves. And then you got this one here, which is in 2, 4, 6, kind of starting the 6-leaf stage. A lot of them are in the 6-leaf stage. So here's the tractor and here's the band sprayer. You can see these nozzles are really close to the sugar beets. They're just 7 inches above the ground. And actually, if you switch a few hoses around over there, you can turn it into a little broadcast sprayer, and it would spray out of those nozzles. But we don't use those, we just use the actual over-the-road band ones. But it's been a long few weeks. We're ready to get this done. We're on our last field for the week, so let's keep going. If you see that orange out there, that's the barley that got sprayed. We sprayed that because if you let it grow too long, it'll start to subtract from the sugar beet crop. But the sugar beet crop is established now. We should be in good shape. And they grow fast. The beets grow quick. Give them a couple weeks and they're gonna be pretty big rows out here. Don't forget to filter your coffee. So if you watched my videos before, you know that I am a Christian. I love the Lord, and so does my wife and son. And as much as he's able to, he's one. Anyway, sometimes these long seasons in the tractor can be hard because I don't have a ton of time to be at church in this season and to be involved in different things. But one thing I like to do is listen to some podcasts. And so one of my favorite ones is the Bible Project. And they just started going through a series on the biblical canon and how was the Bible composed. But you should check it out sometime. It's a good one. Look at that. Full-blown farm sim mode now. I like that screen. Still got to turn by hand, but they do have something called AccuTurn. But it costs extra money. Apparently it'll turn you around on the end and you won't even have to steer. To me, that should just be a standard feature with GPS now that shouldn't cost extra money. But maybe there's a reason for that. RTK costs extra money. You can also change your suspension. So the cab has its own suspension system and so does the front axle. They're both set to soft, so it's a pretty nice smooth ride in here. Almost done. Well, there's 2 rounds left. I'm out of juice. My brother's got enough to finish, and he's gonna get this one done, and we got about a 2-hour road trip. And don't forget to shut the front wheel assist off. Tractors can go 32 miles an hour on the road, and it's actually a pretty smooth ride, believe it or not. Or is it 33 miles an hour? I think it's 33. But I'm only gonna go 18 because this band sprayer has single rib tires and it would knows? It's not exactly new, so we're gonna take her easy. Look at that. This is a classic North Dakota gravel road. Not too wide, nice fresh gravel, grass looks good. Welcome to North Dakota. See, not the best road if you have to pass somebody else, but just a nice looking road. Doesn't it just look nice? Kind of picturesque. I can see for miles and miles and miles and miles the hoop. Pretty much try avoid highways every time we can, but sometimes they're the only path that works. And this one up here, it's always super quiet. And it's got a good shoulder. A good shoulder makes a good highway. About halfway back and been on the road for an hour. Check out them potato rows. We do not grow potatoes, but by golly, we're in the potato belt right now. Almost back. Been on the road for an hour and 40 minutes now. We made it. Always a good feeling when you make it back to the yard. I want to say thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, please be sure to give the video a like and be sure to subscribe. We finished up planting, we finished up band spraying. It's been a heck of a run, ready for a weekend off. But anyway, this is Beet Farmin Mitch. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to keep it sweet.